lazy exercises, weighted cardio, and resistance cardio or resistance training cardio. So it's the idea. So weighted cardio is just um, doing regular cardio, the stuff you normally do, like walking, running, exercise, bike, stairmasters, that kind of stuff, but with weights. I mean, with like a weighted vest, for example. The idea is to make yourself heavier. You can use stuff like leg weights, a backpack with like some dumbbells. I mean, with some plates in there, or uh, you could put leg weights in there. Right, a whole bunch of leg weights in a backpack, and then put it on your back. Right, so that way you can be heavier than you normally are. Because the heavier you are when you do cardio, the more calories you burn than if you were lighter. So I saw a video once of a chick like, oh yeah, when I started doing this, I can only last 2 minutes, and now I'm doing 2 hours on Stairmaster. I've gotten so much stronger or some shit like that. Basically trying to make it seem like she mastered I think that was literally the word she mastered the Stairmasters. I'm like, no, you got skinnier, which means you got lighter, which means it was easier for you to do the Stairmasters because you were lighter. It was hard to do it before and to last long because you were heavy. So you were resistance training essentially when you were doing the Stairmaster. You were doing a lot of weight training because you were heavy. Now you're lighter, you're doing more cardio, more endurance. This is why when we talk about like lifting heavy weights for strength building, and then like five reps is basically strength training, right? And then 10 reps, 10 to 15, right? That's hypertrophy, that's muscle building. And then anything above that, like 20 plus reps, that's basically cardio, that's endurance, that's for stamina, right? That's for toning, right? Muscles, as a lot of people like to joke. But that's the thing, it's like you did the same thing but on a Stairmaster. You were heavy, so you were weightlifting. You were lifting your weight multiple times when you were walking up the stairs on the Stairmaster, and now you're lighter. Obviously, it's going to be easier, so of course you can stay on it longer. The idea is to add resistance through the machine itself, or by wearing a weighted vest if for some reason the machine doesn't give you the resistance feature, the ability to add resistance. Then you put on some weight, literally through putting on a weighted vest or a backpack with weights, or holding on to some dumbbells while you're like, let's say 250-pound dumbbells, right? And walking on the Stairmaster, that way you're 100 pounds heavier. Because if you were 200 plus pounds when you started and it was hard to do, and then now you're like 110 pounds and it's easier to do, it's because you're lighter. It's not because you're stronger. It's not because you were focused and dedicated and consistency. No, it's because you're skinnier. You're lighter. Go ahead and grab 100 pounds and see if you can do the same amount of cardio that you do now. You're not going to. You're gonna see a drastic change in how much cardio you can do, and you realize, yeah, my cardio isn't that strong. Yeah, of course not. The lighter you got, the easier the cardio is. You didn't get stronger, you got smaller. There's a difference. So for those, as you can see, this guy in the comment, he's talking about that he mainly spams cardio all day because weight training is boring for him. So I was like, well, you could do weighted cardio, where you can use weights as part of your cardio. So that way, because essentially like doing cardio, cool, add some weights to it, and now you're doing resistance training essentially. So that's all resistance training or weightlifting is adding resistance to any physical activity you're doing, right? Like curling your arm is just curling your arm, right? But if you grab a 50-pound dumbbell, for example, now you're adding resistance, you're adding weight. So now it's harder to curl your arm, to bend your arm, because of the resistance of the weight. That's all it really is. So it's the same thing with weighted cardio. Now, resistance training cardio, it's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is instead of doing stuff like making yourself heavier while you're doing cardio, it's doing weightlifting, exercising at higher reps. So lightweight, higher reps. As opposed to making yourself heavier, you're trying to use lighter weights and use them longer, like bench press longer. Instead of doing 5 reps, you're trying to do 20 reps, 30 reps, 40 reps, right? If you want to, and not even doing reps specifically, what you can do instead of trying to do reps, it's minutes. So trying to bench press for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You see what I'm saying? So you can turn weightlifting into cardio, is what I'm trying to say there. So that's what resistance training cardio would be, or weightlifting cardio, where you're deliberately using light weights for the purpose of, burning calories. So this is why we recommend for people who want to burn a lot of calories, and they don't want big muscles. Then of course lightweight, high reps will help them burn a lot of calories. They get the benefits of the resistance aspect, the weighted aspect, the fact that there's weights involved in their cardio. Because first and foremost, this is why when it comes to somebody who's overweight and we want them to lose weight, we mainly tell them to do like walking first, because most big people don't walk. But if they did, because they're heavy, they'll burn more calories because they're heavy, because of the weight. So essentially, it's weight training. Just like having a big, heavy person get on the Stairmaster or walk up some steps or walk uphill. It's going to be very difficult because of the weight. So the body has to work harder to handle the activity. So that's the main thing I want to point out. That for those, God knows some people are like, oh yeah, I don't really like lifting weights, or I don't want to get muscular, or this and this video that this guy, where this comment came from, was talking about like how women, don't want to get bigger, get big muscles by lifting weights. They just want to look good, and it's like, oh yeah, you can do it if you use light weights. The problem is a lot of ladies get into the gym, and a lot of times they'll overdo everything. So either they overdo cardio, or they overdo weight training. So they'll get to a point where they're like, okay, I need to lift heavy weights because it will give me faster results. It's like, yeah, it'll give you faster results, but it'll give you faster muscle results. So yeah, you'll build muscles, and then the muscles, yeah, will help you get rid of fat. But and it's okay to do that if the goal is to try to get rid of as much fat as possible, right, through the use of building muscles. But then once you get to a certain point where it's like, all right, the muscles are too big, yeah, now you have to deload, as it were, right? Now you have to stop lifting so heavy, then start lifting lighter to let your muscles get smaller, right? And then you can go heavy again. So it's just the fact that when people start something, they just keep going that one direction. They don't realize sometimes you gotta step back, sometimes you gotta go backwards. And this segues into something I was thinking of talking about, making a video about, was the idea that people have a habit, especially when I give them advice, they have a habit of when they're like, oh man, I'm doing everything, I lost a lot of weight, but now I'm losing less weight than I was before. It looks like my weight stopped going down. It's like, okay, that means your body adapted, and it means your body's trying to not lose weight. So, and of course you still want to keep losing weight. So now what you have to do is eat more. You have to eat more calories for a couple weeks until your body gets used to the more calories, and then immediately go right back down to your, to the calories you were eating before, right? And go back down, and then that would, confuse the body. It'll make the body, because one of my clients literally like I guess last week, if I'm right, hit me up and trying to tell me like, oh look, see, this person said this, that, and the third about eating more, essentially telling me about the reverse diet. It's like, yeah, I know, I told you that long ago when you were saying that you were having trouble losing weight. Like, you lost a lot of weight, but then you were having trouble losing more weight because the scale didn't want to go down. It's like, oh, well, I guess you're gonna have to eat more calories. Instead of eating more calories, they just decided to do more cardio. It's like, okay, you could have just eat more food for a couple weeks, which should make you happy because that will take care of the hunger you're feeling during your calorie deficit, and then go back to your calorie deficit, right? But it's I'm afraid of gaining all the weight that I lost back. Is like that won't work that way. You don't instantly gain all that weight back. Just like you don't instantly get fat, you don't instantly get muscular. It still takes time, which is a good thing, because that means you can pig out for a couple weeks and it not be a big deal. Just like you can stop lifting weights for a couple weeks, couple months, and not be a big deal, and still be getting bigger, stronger, faster, right? So it's like it's a weird idea that people have this correlation that if they do something like eat a lot of calories, they'll gain weight. It's like, no, it took you years of eating a lot of calories for you to gain weight. Not a couple of days. So I don't know why people who start their fitness journey, especially when it comes to females, they start losing weight and then they're afraid of gaining it all back. It's like, you already lost 30 plus pounds. Even if you gain 10 pounds, not a big deal. You can easily get rid of it. You were able to get rid of 30 pounds with the calorie deficit, with working out. You don't think you can, if you did gain actual 10 pounds, you can't get rid of it? You can. The whole idea was to learn how to get rid of the weight in the first place. You learn how to do that. So why are you scared of gaining it when you literally have a way of getting rid of it? Gaining weight that I'm afraid of gaining weight back means you're afraid of getting it back and then stop trying to lose it. It's like, okay, so you already put the idea in your head that if you did gain the weight back, you're not even going to try to lose it again, even though you already did it the first time. Like, you did it the first time. It's like somebody becoming rich and then be like, oh, I don't want to spend all my money because I'll be broke again, I'll be poor again. It's like, but you still have the system, you still have the knowledge to become rich. So you just go ahead, spend all the money, be poor, and then make another $1 million. What's the problem? But it's this weird fear of something that don't make sense to be afraid of. Why are you afraid of something happening when you already have the solution to the problem? It's like, I'm afraid of having this problem, even though you already know the solution. It's like you took a test, you got straight A, you got 100% on the test, so you know all the answers. You pass the test. Someone walks up to you next week and like, here's the test again, and you're like, oh no, like, why are you afraid? But what if I get all the answers wrong this time? How? You got all the answers right last time. All you have to do is the same thing. So it is weird to deal with, specifically females. They have a habit of doing that. I notice they go too far with stuff, just like the idea of thinking like, oh, I lost all this weight, but then I'm gonna gain it all back. Like, you could, but it'll take a while. But no, you can always lose it again. as fast as you think you can gain the weight back is as fast as you can lose it. Because if we're gonna be delusional, be like, oh yeah, just one weekend of eating more calories is gonna equal you gaining the 30 plus pounds back, which is ridiculous. It doesn't happen. But you're thinking a weekend of eating is going to cause you to gain all that weight back, then going back in your diet should cause you to quickly lose that 30 pounds in the same amount of time, right? If you think you're going to gain all the weight back from a weekend of eating extra calories, extra food. But anyway, that's the point I wanted to make, was like, do more, do what works, and then don't complain if you have to do the opposite for a while, like lift with less weights, eat more calories, because you can always do the opposite afterwards. Eat more calories. Oh, I gained some, like 5 pounds. Whoop de doo. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Now you're gonna lose 40 pounds afterwards. Who cares? Who cares? You gain 5. You gain 5 so you can lose 40. That's worth it. It's the same thing as like when it comes to investing money. I invest $100 into a stock, and now I'm a millionaire. Isn't it worth it? Oh, but I don't want to lose the $100. The only way you lose it is if you just give it away and don't do anything with it. But if you invest $100, the likelihood of you getting it back with more money is higher than if you just spent it on your, on some clothes or something, or some random $100 item. Like, it's better to invest, and that's all it is. When you eat more calories, you're investing in your weight loss journey. You're not ruining your weight loss journey. You're investing in your weight loss journey. Same thing as lifting less weights or not lifting for for a couple months. It's an investment into your future gains. It's not, getting rid of any future gains. You're actually going to gain more from it. So people got to take those weird ideas out their mind and start getting really educated on how the body works. So that's the end of the video.